Good morning. Welcome to Web Summit. My name is Charlie Ungashick. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Vimeo. If I could just get a show of hands, how many of you have used Vimeo? I love that. It's wonderful. Did you know that Vimeo is a 20-year-old company, and 20 years ago, we invented the like button? So now you know. I'm here to talk about a very important subject, and that is, today is 2025. I know that seems obvious, but I think the world has changed fundamentally in two major ways. When I talk to marketers, when I talk to filmmakers, I talk to creators, even people in corporations who run learning and development, there's two fundamental topics that I hear over and over. First is humans. Everybody here, there's two major things that we're doing very, very differently. And the first is how we get information. 2 years ago, we would go say, Google that term. And I don't know about you, but when I'm looking for information, I'm talking to ChatGPT. So where we get information is totally different. And the other thing is how we consume information tends to skew more and more towards video. I saw a stat recently that said that 75% of people under 25 get their news from TikTok, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So humans are changing how we get our information and how we like to consume our information. Obviously, the next thing is artificial intelligence. And so everyone that I talk to, especially if you're a creator, if you're a filmmaker, or you're a storyteller, you're really wondering whether AI is going to replace my job or if it's going to make me a 10x superpower. So as a show of hands, how many people are worried about replacing your job? Very few. Okay, good. Because I agree with most of you. I actually don't believe it's going to replace the creative inception and storytelling. I think humans will want to get authentic, resonant, relevant stories the way we always have. And the reason I know this is not, don't take it from me, but I'd like you to take it from Mr. Rogers.
You know, your own imagination is far more wonderful than any computer could ever be. You know why? You're a living human being, and a computer is just a machine. Human beings are far more wonderful than machines.
Isn't that true? Human beings are far more wonderful than machines, but machines can make human beings faster and better in many, many ways. So you all know Vimeo. Vimeo is the leading private video distribution platform. We are specialized in high quality videos and ad-free experiences. But we also, if you have any friends or family that make movies, you may also know us from our staff picks. We recognize independent filmmakers for their short films, and we constantly find people who are pushing the needle in terms of innovation. So last year, one of our staff picks winners, Paul Trillo, actually made this really cool video where it's the evolution of a couple that age over time. So over 30 years within a very short film, you can see that they're actually getting older and older as they grow together. The entire video was made with OpenAI's Sora network. And what he said at the time was, while some people feel that this may be supplanting how things are made, I see this as supplementing ideas that could have never been possible before. So in this case, here you can see a creator's ability to take AI and do something that they could never do before. And many of the biggest brands use Vimeo to host their videos. You all know that, so I will skip past this. So why video? So did you all know that 82% of the zeros and ones, the internet traffic, is actually video content? And the reason people like video is, on average across the globe, we spend over 3 hours consuming video content every day. When you are trying to consume information and understand something, how to how to operate a dishwasher, how to run my laundry machine, you're 95% more likely to remember that if you actually watch a video than if you read something. You get more engagement from videos. So how many people are in marketing here? Great. Did you know that if you put a video on your website, you're going to have 87% more engagement on that one web page than if it did not have a video? And as consumers, everyone knows that if you want to go buy a product, you're going to go watch a video about it first, right? 64% of the time, you're going to buy that product without them watching the video. But video is really all about storytelling. So I want to give you a little bit of history lesson about how we got here and how we use technology to tell our stories. So over the course of history, we had the 6 arts of storytelling: sculpture, pictures, music, architecture. And over the course of technologies, these things helped improve not only our ability to connect human to human and tell those stories, but also the longevity of those stories as well. And as a result, we can teach, we can trade, and we can entertain each other. And it wasn't until the 7th art, the moving picture, that actually where video and stories really started to come alive. So in 1911, an Italian philosopher living in the south of France, he invented this drum. So imagine a cylinder that you put your eye inside of and has photos inside. So it actually approximates this moving horse here. So it was the very first time we saw a moving picture. And so I want to talk about how technology has improved the lives of storytelling, but how there was always this resistance like there is today with AI. All right. So one example is Leonardo da Vinci. He actually invented a pulley system that had let him go up and down so he could actually paint the alfresco ceiling and then lower himself to see whether his work is actually really, really good. It's a very simple technology, but it's a technology that advanced the art of storytelling. But there was not always embracing of technology for storytelling. So I'll give you 2 or 3 examples. The first is photography. So at the time, if you wanted to see what someone's looked like or a landscape, you'd have to go to a realist painter to see what that looked like because photography didn't exist. So when the photographs first came out in the 1800s, all the painters at the time were immediately threatened because they were realists. And here's a great quote from French painter Paul Delaroche: "From today, painting is dead." But in fact, the opposite is actually what happened. When photography came on board, realism didn't need to carry all the weight to show people what things looked like in the real world. They could be expressionist, they could be modernist. So in many ways, photography liberated the art of painting. And the same thing is true with film. So when film came on the scenes, there was no synchronized audio. So I'm going to let you watch what it was like to watch a movie before there was synchronized audio. So this is not a stunt person. This is the actual actor. And he's actually literally walking around a building that's moving, right? So you think about the danger and think about the amount of insurance that the film producers needed to buy in order to do this thing. So if you think about the artwork, the storytelling of watching a movie, there was no dialogue. So the dialogue was replaced by physicality and over-the-top expressions, this house that has no roof, right? And so when all of a sudden in the 1920s, we had a new device called a videophone that allowed us to play a sound in conjunction with a moving picture. It was the very first time that humans could actually consume both audio and video at the same time. But at that time, the silent film industry, they were very upset about this because they had perfected a craft that was now instantly going to be ameliorated by a new technology. Who wants to see the very first time we saw an actual video with synchronized audio and video? Have you seen this? Cool, let's watch.
Wait a minute, you ain't heard nothing yet. Wait a minute, I tell you, you ain't heard nothing. You want to hear Toot Toot Tootsie? All right, hold on. Lou, listen, play Toot Toot Tootsie, 3 choruses, you understand? And the 3rd chorus, I whistle. Now give it to him hard and heavy. Go right ahead. Toot Toot Tootsie, goodbye.
wait a minute, wait a minute. That was the very first sentence that we as humans heard on a moving video. And it was ironically, it was improvised. It was actually not scripted. So video and movies has become the state of the art. And as the years have gone by, it's only gotten better and better. So we have now color, we have television, we have widescreen formats, we have videos that you have home, we have videos that are swappable and shoppable. And now today, video is a place that we learn. Video is the medium for us being entertained. And by the way, thanks to the Web Summit team, they do a great job. This is all being streamed live on Vimeo today. And now it's completely immersive. How many people have been to the Sphere in Las Vegas? A good number of you. Yeah. So if you saw recently, they've reimagined, concerts and movies. And if you're there, it's a 16K screen. It's the world's largest Sphere physically, but it's also the world's largest video screen at the same time. And all of that's before artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is really becoming the state of the art for how most productions are made. You can see why. Like, here's Will Smith 2 years ago. The spaghetti has become part of his face, and now you can see it's gotten better. I have 3 pieces of advice for you if you're creators. One is try out the tools and try them continuously because they're ever changing. Thank you for taking a picture of this slide. These are the tools that we use internally at Vimeo to create the best video projects. And they're changing every day, right? So that's number 1. Number 2 is keep the human in charge of the process. So volume studios are a great technology that use AI to shoot videos. And they came on the scene in 2019 in London when The Mandalorian was here. And even though this looks like a physical production, you saw that Mandalorian, what it is it's a giant video screen. Those guys are not in a forest. They're literally in front of a video screen. And I'll show you an example of the video that we created at Vimeo called Reframe. So here's a conference that we did called Reframe. And the volume studio, here's the actor that we had come into the video. He looks like he's in an office, but he's actually not. Everything that you see behind there is rendered using artificial intelligence. And you say, hey, I want to make the office outside of the video, make the window looking sunny versus cloudy, right? And it renders everything. And so I'll show you a quick snippet of what this looks like.
Wanna do what I do, better go and put in work. Wanna get what I get, better go and put in work. Wanna roll how I roll, better go and put in work. But I look so fresh every time I put in work. And I know I win every time I put in work. I can smell that dough every time I put in work.
The Porsche 911 was real. The guy in the office was real. The person in the ski jacket was real. Everything else was AI generated. But here's the thing. These are the storyboards that my team built in order to design what this production would look like. We started with humans. We started with real sketches. We started with real directors. And we started with, of course, a real budget. And that was where AI could really make this thing come alive in a whole new way. So the third piece of advice is I would encourage you to let AI do the boring work for you. Gives you more time to be more creative and spend more time with your team to delight your storytelling and your users. What do I mean by that? Here's an example.
We will review our company's policies on topics such as 安全等方面的政策。这些政策对于营造一个积极和高效的工作环境至关重要，并确保所有员工。
So with dubbing is an example of AI technology that lets your video and storytelling scale. It's so much easier in terms of workflows and technology. There's great tools like 11 Labs and Synthesia that could do this. Vimeo can do this too. Remember the original Al Jolson wait a minute video? So here's a version of this. I presented at OMR in June in Hamburg. And here's that actually video dubbed into German.
Warte eine Minute. Du hast noch nichts gehört. Warte eine Minute, sage ich dir. Du hast noch nichts gehört. Willst du Tutsi hören? In Ordnung. Augenblick. Blue, hör zu. Spiele Tutsi, 3 Refrains, verstehst du? Im 3. Refrain pfeife ich. Und jetzt gib ihnen richtig Gas. Leg los. Tutsi. Goodbye.
You know what's crazy about that? He's actually singing in German. I thought that you could have dialogue and that would speech would be fine. The fact that it can actually translate as the vocal language when it's singing is pretty crazy. So I think to round up my presentation here, I think we're going to think about things very differently. At the beginning of my presentation, I said people are finding information very differently and they're consuming information via video. I also said that people are worried that AI is going to actually be a killer of creativity. I don't think human beings want to watch AI slop, but I think the way that we bring our stories, since many of you are in marketing, as I am, I think we have an opportunity to tell our stories in a different way, number one, and also bring our stories to the people who consume them in a whole different way. So today, a couple years ago, people would be like, oh, what's my budget for the video? How do I get the video to my customer? What language is it in? It's only in English or Portuguese. What tools do I need to make them? And so it became very sort of like, I've got a marketing project, I've got to produce a video, right? And I think now what's very different is what can video do to get my search results inside of ChatGPT or Claude to show my content? How do I get video, the best snippets, because I know they have the most engagement, onto social media right away and without actually human intervention? AI can do that. I have I want to train somebody, like I have a barista inside of Starbucks around the globe, and I want to tell them how to make this new drink. How can I use video to do that? How can I go live right now on 4K? And I think this is the way people are, when I talk to customers around the world, these are the type of topics that they're leaning into when they're thinking about how to tell their best stories in marketing using video. So in summary, here's what I think is happening. I don't think video is actually, I don't think AI is a creative killer. I think there's some really unique use cases around things like music. There's some unique use cases around customized video gaming. But in terms of authentic filmmaking and storytelling, I think AI can be a 10x superpower. It can help your projects get done faster and get done a whole lot cheaper. I also don't think video is a rectangle anymore. Video is you can walk into it just like when you originally walked into caves and you could see cave illustrations. You can walk into the sphere and now you are part of the video. Video is part of what your experience is. If you haven't listened to any of the podcasts like Lenny's podcast, you'll know that video is an intrinsic part of your AEO strategy, because video is actually the place where now many of the LLMs are actually indexing the content itself. And lastly, video is not a nice to have anymore. People are learning, they're transacting, they're finding out a lot more about your brand, and they're doing it 64% of the time more likely with video than with anything that you may write. So as a marketer, I always start with video because you can always take a video and turn it into that blog, social media post, whatever. It's so much easier to do it that way than the other way around. So thank you very much for watching my presentation today. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the conference.